Hello everyone, welcome to Economy This Week session where we discuss important economy related current affairs that has taken place throughout the week. I am Disha Bhatt, your educator, and let's start the session. So in total there are 4 news which we are going to cover in this particular session. The first news is related to Index of Service Production, very important. That's why I have kept it in a first place itself. The second news is related to India's UK CETA, that is Comprehensive Economic and Trade Agreement. Third news is related to wholesale inflation, that is wholesale price index. It has surged to 9.87%. And the last news is related to your mobile phone manufacturing scheme, that is MPMS. Alright, so let us start with Index of Service Production. Now, why this has been in news? See, the Ministry of Statistics and Program have implemented what? It has launched the Index of Service Production in July 2026. That means Index of Services Production has been launched by Ministry of Statistics. Very important fact. Which ministry has launched the Index of Service Production? That is Ministry of Statistics. Alright. And also it is India's first high frequency monthly indicator. Now from here we get to understand that the Index of Service Production will release its report on monthly basis. And that's why they are calling it a high frequency monthly indicator. That means it will capture the short-term changes which is happening in your service sector. Alright, so it is India's first high frequency monthly indicator for measuring the short-term changes in the output of the formal service sector. Again, I have highlighted the another keyword. What do we mean by formal service sector? Formal service sector. That means those sectors or those service sectors which have been registered with the government. Okay, for example, education is a part of your service sector. But let's just say if I'm running a coaching in my home where I'm giving free tuitions to my neighbor's kids, okay, then it will not come under your formal service sector. Okay, it will be considered as informal because it is not registered with the government. The government has no idea about that. All right, so it will capture the changes in the output of the just formal service sector. Okay, I've highlighted this keyword. You have to keep this in your mind, okay? Because usually the statements, like the questions, are framed out of these keywords only. And most of the time students get confused. Now, next what it says, the ISP is a monthly volume index that measures the short-term changes in the real output, of India's formal service sector related to base year, okay? See, every time if we talk about any index, let's just say CPI or WPI, if you have to monitor the changes which has been happening in that particular sector, you need a reference point for that, right? All right, so for that reference point we have chosen a base year, that is 2024 and 25. Would you be able to remember that the base year for ISP is 2024 and 25? Okay, now I want you to tell me the base year of WPI, that is Wholesale Price Index. Okay, recently it has been changed. So I am aware, like I am assuming that you might be knowing that what is the new base year of wholesale price index. So write down your answers in the comment box. Okay. So the base year of ISP is 2024 and 25. Okay. Now, which statistical tool we are using it? That is Live Pairs Volume Index. Okay. This statistical tool we are using it. Okay. In order to give the weightage to the different subsectors of your service sector. Okay, now let me explain you. I know that you must be finding it difficult to understand, but understand my point. In a service sector, there are different subsectors. In service sector, there is an education. Education is also a part of service sector, right? Entertainment is also a part of your service sector, right? Also, what else? IT sector. IT sector is also a part of your service sector. Now, my question to you is, if you want to monitor the progress of these subsectors, will you give them the equal weightage? Will you give them the equal weightage? The answer is no. We cannot give them the equal weightage. Why? Because not all subsectors contribute equal to your gross domestic product. Not all subsectors contribute equally to your gross value addition. Okay? Higher weightage will be given to that sector which contributes the most to your gross value added or your GVA. Okay? So, that's why we use Live Pairs Volume Index. Now, you must have heard about the Index of Industrial Production, that is IIP. In IIP also, Live Pairs Volume Index has been used. Okay, so These facts are clear to you. I really hope that this is clear to you. Okay, the base year is 2024 and 25 and lies by its volume index. That means this statistical method will be used for assigning weights to the different subsectors. Okay. Next, why was the ISP needed? Why it was needed? See, India already published the index of industrial production. We already had a IIP back then. Okay. But IIP measures only mining, manufacturing and electricity. It does not include services. Right? See, service sector has its own importance. Okay, service sector is a sector which contributes the most to the India's gross domestic product. More than 50% contribution is from the service sector side. Also, we do receive a lot of foreign direct investments. Majority of the foreign direct investments we receive is for the service sector. Okay, and service sector has shown the highest growth rate. Now, we do need some tool, we do need some index which could measure or which could monitor the progress of service sector, right? That's why it was required. Till now, we did not have any dedicated index which tracks the progress of the service sector. That's why the government introduced the ISP. Okay. Now, since 2013-14, the service sector has remained the largest contributor to the India's economy. We had so many indexes right now. Okay, we had CPI, we had WPI, we have index of industrial production. But we do need ISP. Why? Because we have to have an index that dedicatedly measures the progress of your service sector. Okay. Now that was the reason why ISP was needed. Now let us see how many subsectors have been covered. Okay. If in exam, if they will give you a statement that all the subsectors are a part of your ISP, that statement will be incorrect. Not all subsectors are a part of ISP. Few sectors have been excluded. We will see them in the upcoming slide. But till now, you have to remember, as of now, only 19 service subsectors have been covered. It covers approximately 60% of the services GVA. Okay, here is the list. You can see wholesale and retail trade, transport, banking, insurance, telecommunication, hotels and restaurants, real estate, professional, scientific and technical service, arts, entertainment and recreation, and health and educational services. Now let us have a look into those subsectors which have been excluded or which are not a part of your ISP. Okay. See, public administration, defense, government health, government education, activities of private households, extraterritorial organization, gambling and betting, and some financial services beyond banking and insurance. Banking and insurance will be a part of ISP, but few other financial services which does not come under your banking and insurance domain, they will not be a part of your ISP. Okay. So just remember these three excluded sectors, okay, because in examination you can be trapped. You know, if in a statement, if they say that defense comes under your ISP, then that statement will be incorrect. Okay, so have a basic idea of that. All right. Now, before moving forward, I have a good news for us. Okay, so the new session sale has been started. It is valid from 18th of July to 22nd of July, where the 50% off will be given on all the live online courses. Okay, if you are preparing for UPSC, State PCS teaching exams or judiciary exams, SSC and CUET, you can avail this benefit, you can avail this great discount. And to avail that, you can call on this number. If you have any doubt, you can call here. Okay. All right. Now let us move to our next news. That is India's UK Comprehensive Economic and Trade Agreement, CETA. Now this has been in news since last year. It was signed in 2025. But right now, in this particular month, in July, it has came into force. So India-UK Comprehensive Economic and Trade Agreement, that is CETA, it came into force on 15th July 2026, 1 year after it was signed. That's why we are reading it again. Okay. Now, along with CETA, the Double Contribution Convention, that is DCC, also became operational. The DCC has also become operational. Now, this DCC we will understand in our upcoming slides. But one important aspect about this free trade agreement is that it is India's first free trade agreement with standalone anti-corruption chapter. It has a separate chapter on anti-corruption. And it is India's first FTA where India is willingly working towards anti-corruption. Now what will happen here? Here both UK and India will come together and they will willingly commit themselves to work against corruption. They will promote transparency and integrity. Okay. So you have to remember this. It is a very special point if we talk about India-UK CETA. All right. Now, let us read more about CETA, what actually it is. All right. Now, the India-UK Comprehensive Economic and Trade Agreement, CETA, it is a free trade agreement. It is a free trade agreement. If you already know about free trade agreement, please write down in the comments what do you mean by free trade agreement, what are its main key features. Okay, I'll also tell you, but this CETA is a free trade agreement. It aims to promote the trade in goods, services, investment and economic cooperation by reducing the tariff and non-tariff barriers between India and United Kingdom. So the CETA which we are talking about, it is actually a free trade agreement. See, what is free trade agreement is, see, in free trade agreement, that is FTA, two countries or a group of countries will they will come together and they will try to reduce or eliminate the tariff and non-tariff barriers. Okay. Now, what are tariff and non-tariff barriers? See, barrier is what? Barrier is like a restriction, or probably it's like a hurdle which stops the countries from trading. It's like a barrier. Okay. And barrier is of two types, tariff barrier and non-tariff barrier. Okay, I'll give you an example, then you will be able to understand it in a very lucid way. Okay, see, when we talk about tariff barrier, have you ever heard of import duty? Have you ever heard of import duty? This is a tariff barrier. Import duty is an example of tariff barrier. Okay, let's just say that there are few Indian companies in India who are manufacturing chocolates, and they want to export these chocolates to UK. But what UK is doing, UK is putting an import duty on Indian chocolates. Let's just say the UK has imported 20% import duty on Indian chocolates, and Indian chocolates costed around 100 rupees in Indian market. Now what will happen? Because of this import duty, Indian chocolates will become expensive in the European market, right? Because these chocolates have been taxed. Now their actual cost would be 120 rupees. Now what will happen? In European market, does the demand of Indian chocolates would increase or decrease? Obviously it will decrease, right? It will decrease because these chocolates have become expensive. So in a way it is a barrier, right? This is an example of tariff barrier. And what is non-tariff barrier? In non-tariff barrier, you will not impose an import duty. You will make the conditions or the quality checks very you will make it very strict and rigid, so that the products of other countries are unable to enter in your country's market. Okay. And European countries have been using it from a lot, from very long time. The European countries have been using the non-tariff barriers. Even US is also using it. All right. So in CETA, what UK and India are trying to do, we will promote the trade in goods, services, investment and economic cooperation by reducing the tariff and non-tariff barrier, okay, between India and United Kingdom, so that the economic integration can be more strengthened. Okay, we want to increase our trade in goods and services. That's what we are trying to do. Okay, it is also regarded as a gold standard of India's FTA. Okay, if in future, let's just say if India has to do a trade agreement, free trade agreement with other European countries, then this CETA will be regarded as a gold standard. Okay, now the India-UK FTA aims to boost the bilateral trade up to 120 billion US dollars by 2030. This is the goal which we are trying to achieve. It is expected that our bilateral trade will go up to 120 billion by 2030. You can use this point in your mains answer writing. Okay, there is a very high chance that in mains the question can be asked that what benefits India could get by this CETA agreement with UK. All right. Now this agreement contains 30 chapters covering areas such as trade in goods, trade in services. We are also talking about digital trade here, right? Government procurement, MSMEs, investment, innovation, labor, environment. Very good point. We are also talking about the environment, okay? And gender. So there are some unique dimensions which we are covering in this particular FTA, okay? It also addresses the non-tariff barrier through sanitary and phytosanitary measures and technical barriers to trade. That I've already explained you what does non-tariff barrier means. And these two are the examples of non-tariff barriers. Okay. All right. Now, let us talk about the UK and India commitments. Now, what UK has committed? UK says that it will eliminate tariff on the 99% of the Indian exports. That means, what does that mean? That now Indian exports will be cheaper in the UK market, which is a very good thing for the Indian manufacturers, because now the demand for their products will increase in the UK market. And if the demand for their goods will increase in the UK market, what does that mean? They will do more production. Okay, our country's manufacturers will do more production because the demand of their goods has increased in UK market. And if they will produce more, the more employment will be created, right? So it is a win-win situation for both India and UK. Okay, so now the tariff has been eliminated. It will also immediately, like it will eliminate the duty-free access on 96.8% of tariff lines, eventually covering the 99.5% of the trade value. What India is willing to do, India has committed to reduce tariff on nearly 90% of the UK tariff lines. All right. Reductions will be implemented in a phased manner. Okay. It will happen in a phased manner. So phased manner means what? That this process is going to be slow. It will happen in stages. Okay. Now, what is tariff line? Tariff line is a specific product category. It's a specific product category. Tariff line is a specific product category. For example, the textile has its own specific product category. It has its own tariff line. If I talk about footwear, shoes has its own specific product category, right? So this is a tariff line. All right. Now let us see what DCC actually means. I have told you that we will talk about DCC in the upcoming slides. So right now we have to understand what double contribution convention means. Okay. Now, as you know, whenever you are working somewhere, you need to contribute certain percentage of your salary to the social security fund. Okay. But what was the problem back then? Earlier, let's just say if there is a person who is from India, let's just say Rahul. Rahul is from India, but Rahul went to UK as a working professional. He went there. Now, previously, what Rahul was doing is Rahul has to contribute certain percentage of his salary to the social security of both the countries. He has to pay in UK as well. He has to pay in India as well. So that was a double burden on him. It increased his cost of living in UK. Okay. Was it a double burden? Definitely yes. So right now what we have done is, see, in this particular agreement, it has exempted the Indian professionals and their employers from UK social security contribution up to 5 years. That means if you are a working professional who is working in UK, you do not have to pay or contribute anything to the UK social security system. You only have to pay in India, right? You have to pay in India, provided that they continue contributing to the India social security system. Okay, that means your double burden has been reduced. All right. Now, what is this agreement is expected to contribute? This agreement is expected to benefit around 75,000 Indian professionals and over 900 Indian companies, with eligible workers saving about 23% of their salary. That is a lot. You will be able to save 23% of your salary because now you do not have to contribute to both the countries. You do not have to pay in both the countries. All right. It is applicable only to the workers moving to the UK on after 15th July 2026. All right. That is the catch here. Right now, if you will go to UK, then in that condition, DCC will be applicable on you. If you have been working here, let's just say in 2025, then it will not work for you. Okay. All right. Now let us also discuss the benefits for India under India-UK CETA. These are the points you can write in your mains answer writing. What benefits it will give? First of all, it will boost our exports. Our exports will increase. If our exports will increase, our foreign exchange will also increase. Our foreign exchange will also increase, which lead to the increase in the value of rupee. Our rupee will also increase. Okay. It will also increase the production. If the production will increase, then more employment will be generated because you need labor to produce more, right? Okay. So it will boost our exports. It will also generate the employment. And if more employment will be generated, then the greater investment will be made. Okay. So it is a win-win situation for our economy. It will also enhance the mobility for professionals, right? It will also support our MSME. Our small scale industries will also get a huge market in UK to sell their products. So definitely it will also benefit the MSME. Then it will also support our technology and innovation. India and UK can come together and can work on the technology. India can learn from UK, right? So there are a lot of things, lot of aspects from where we will get the benefit. Okay. All right. Now the next news is related to wholesale price index inflation. Now why WPI is in news? See, wholesale price index this inflation has rose to 9.87% in June 2026 compared to 9.68% in May 2026. That means inflation has increased. Now, why inflation has increased? Because there has been an increase in prices in fuel, energy, metals, chemicals, and food articles. Okay, so inflation has surged a bit. All right. Now, in this news, we need to be aware of wholesale price index. This has also been asked in your PYQ. That's why I've added this news. Okay. Now, let us talk about wholesale price index. So, WPI measures the average change in the prices of goods at the wholesale level before they reach the consumers. So, basically what WPI does it? WPI measures the inflation. WPI measures the inflation at a wholesale level. At a wholesale level. It measures that how much inflation, how much prices have changed for producers. Okay, for producers. That means WPI is for whom? WPI is for producers. Have you heard of consumer price index? Definitely you must have heard about the CPI. Okay, CPI tracks the prices of goods and services from the consumer's perspective, that how much the prices of goods and services have increased. All right. CPI measures the inflation for consumer, while WPI measures the inflation for producers. Now I have a question for you. RBI do use one index to frame its monetary policy. RBI definitely use one index. Now, which index does the RBI use? Does RBI use CPI or does RBI use WPI? You have to answer me in the comment section. Okay. One important aspect of WPI is it does not capture the services. WPI captures only goods. Changes in the price of goods. WPI does not capture the changes in price in services. Okay. Would you be able to remember that? All right. Now, WPI is released by the Office of Economic Advisor, which comes under Department of Promotion and Industry, that is DPIIT, which comes under your Ministry of Commerce and Industry. All right. Okay. Now, the government has also introduced the revised WPI series to better reflect the changing structure of Indian economy. Okay. Now, this news is old, but I think that this can be asked in your exam. That's why I've added it. Okay. I've added this in this particular article itself. All right. So, what changes the government has introduced? First thing the government has done is the base year has changed from 2011-12 to 2022-2023. The base year of WPI have been changed. I have asked you in the first news itself. You have to write in the comment section. Okay. I hope you have answered the same. Now, the base year of WPI is 2022 and 2023. We have changed the reference point. Now, also the number of items covered under WPI basket has been increased. It has been increased from 697 to 957. Also, the revised WPI, it will also track the prices of solar energy, wind energy, and nuclear electricity. This is also very important. Okay. Also, the revised series, the revised WPI will adopt the gross value of output, that is GVO, as the basis for assigning weights. Okay. So, these are the 4 key points which you have to remember for wholesale price index. Okay. All right. Now, let us come to our last news, that is mobile phone manufacturing scheme, that is MPMS. So, recently the Union Cabinet has approved the mobile phone manufacturing scheme with a budgetary outlay of 62,500 crore rupees. Okay, that much amount the government is willing to spend to boost the mobile manufacturing. Okay. Now, what is MPMS? The mobile phone manufacturing scheme is a government incentive. That means the government will provide the incentives to whom? To the producers or manufacturers. Producers and manufacturers. Here the government is willing to provide the incentives to the manufacturers and producers. Okay. Aimed at promoting the mobile phone manufacturing, domestic value addition, and indigenous design and research and development. The government is also willing to spend on research and development. Okay. What it will do? It will increase the smartphone production in India. Okay. Smartphone manufacturing will increase in India. Also, it will promote the domestic component manufacturing. Here we are trying to promote the manufacturing instead of assembling. What is the difference between assembling and manufacturing? If you know, then do answer me in the comment box. Okay. In manufacturing, you do not have the raw material. You are just assembling the parts. Okay. But in manufacturing, you will start from the very basic. You will collect the component. You will do the research and development. You will do R&D and everything. And then collectively, you will do everything. That is the manufacturing. manufacturing happens from the scratch. Okay, we are very good at assembling, but now we want to be good at manufacturing. Okay, so we want to promote the domestic manufacturing. We are also willing to strengthen our supply chain resilience, and we want to make India a global mobile manufacturing hub. If we are able to do so, then this will also increase a lot of investment. We will receive a lot of investments. Okay, and through manufacturing, we can also create more number of jobs. All right. Let us talk about the basic features of this scheme. The budgetary outlay is around 62,500 crore. The duration is 5 years. This scheme is valid for 5 years. Production linked financial incentive for mobile phones manufactured in India. Okay, financial incentives will be given to the manufacturers. Additional incentive will be given to those who are using locally sourced components. If you are a manufacturer and you are locally sourcing your components from India itself, then you will get the additional incentive. Okay, special incentive to support the design, engineering and research and development by Indian companies. Okay, so that is it for today. Now I have some practice questions for all of you. Okay, let us try and solve them. Okay, question number 1. The index of service production uses which of the following methodologies? Option A, Paasche index. Option B, Fisher index. Option C, fixed weight last bytes volume index. Option D, chain weighted index. Write down your answers in the comment box. Okay. The next question is, the double contribution convention, that is DCC, recently seen in news primarily relates to. DCC is related to what? Is it related to double taxation, or is it related to social security contribution, custom duty and carbon taxation? Okay, again, write down your answers in the comment box. Okay, I hope you liked today's lecture, and if you do so, then do let me know in the comments itself. And thank you so much for watching. Have a good day.
For more informative content, like, share and subscribe, and do not forget to press the bell icon to get the notifications.